is experiencing something of a comeback as a fashion center. International luxury brands are everywhere, but in recent years, it's been young, creative people who've been setting the tone in Berlin fashion. And they opt for young, individual labels.
Ja, es gibt einen Berliner Frauentyp, der vielleicht mein
yes, there's a Berlin type of woman, and perhaps she's my favorite type. She somehow has the ability to mix styles to fit her mood. It's a bit of street, a bit of glam, a bit of rock and roll. The Berlin woman isn't particularly elegant.
Oh, that's a beauty.
She's giving us a little insight into the style of the city. Charlotte Wiedemann, a 31-year-old marketing expert.
She's wearing a bit of street fashion, the tank top and the camouflage pants, the cool shoes. She could be from anywhere. On top of that, she looks a bit too tidy to be a Berlin woman.
I think in Berlin it's all about individuality, but people here are a bit rougher, and I like that a lot. Women are a little tougher. Sometimes you see outfits paired with an aviator jacket.
Grunge and boyish, or casual and feminine. Both are features of Berlin street style, found alongside top-flight luxury labels or avant-garde fashions for insiders. Berlin women also shop at big fashion chains like COS, a unit of H&M. For Charlotte Wiedemann, classic vintage fashions are typical of Berlin.
I like the power shoulders, the whole 90s thing, where women really were empowered with that business look. That comes across really well with these things. So all of a sudden you have a totally different standing, and I like that.
The 80s, which these girls didn't experience, were the ultimate kick because of the exaggerated shoulders, because of the exaggerated colors. And anything that's considered a no-go is, of course, the absolute fashion kick.
In a Berlin courtyard in the district of Kreuzberg is the Vue store, Charlotte Wiedemann's favorite shop, a concept store with a cafe. The owners carefully select their designers and the clothing. They want to present their own style and distance themselves from mainstream tastes.
I think people are becoming less sensitive about seeing underwear. That's why I like this. It's from a label that Berlin women simply adore. Acne is worshipped in all of the Nordic countries, but in Germany the adoration is even more extreme. The label's aesthetic corresponds to Berlin's fashion sense. This is a little fluttery, but it's still flattering.
Right now she's trying on some oversized things. Everything's too big, but only people who have a slim figure can afford to wear them. Otherwise, it would look like the clothes fit, and filling them out is something else again.
Charlotte Wiedemann in her apartment. At home, she wears comfortable clothes, like this two-piece by Berlin designer Vladimir Karaleev.
He ripped out some of the seams, and the neckline isn't clean. But he can get away with that because "I really couldn't care less about fashion" is also a fashion statement in Berlin.
Charlotte dons a black dress and platform shoes to go out for the evening. The dress is made of knitted leather.
The dress is sort of like a corset because it forces you to have good posture. It's not too uncomfortable, But I think a little bit of suffering is part of the whole thing. You notice, hey, I'm being pushed into shape, and you're ready to face the world.
You can produce these things without making too many waves, and they can be worn on the street. But you know, Berlin is a bit of a fetish town too, and there's a great deal in this wardrobe that we just saw that has a slight fetishy element to it. But of course, fetish is also an ingredient of international haute couture.
Charlotte Wiedemann is DJing at an outdoor restaurant. It's a typical scene for Berlin, a party town full of joie de vivre and a style that's an unconventional mix of street fashion, glamour, and a bit of rock and roll.